The Addams Family.
John Astin did not just play Gomez Addams, he made him impossible to forget. The wild eyes, the sword, the kisses up Morticia's arm, the way he looked at Carolyn Jones made viewers wonder if something more was happening when the cameras stopped. And years later, John's own words only made that question more tempting. Off camera, his life had plenty of twists too. There were marriages, children, career turns, strange roles, quiet regrets, and a bond with Carolyn that fans still talk about. Their chemistry looked too natural to ignore, but the real story was more complicated than a simple rumor. Join us as we look back at John Astin's life, his loves, his career, and the Addams connection that never lost its mystery. From Baltimore to a different kind of dream. John Allen Astin was born on March 30th, 1930, in Baltimore, Maryland. His life did not begin in Hollywood, and that makes his story even more interesting. His mother was Margaret Linney Mackenzie, and his father was Allen Varley Astin, a physicist who became director of the National Bureau of Standards, now known as the National Institute of Standards and Technology. At the time, the family lived on Battery Lane in Bethesda, Maryland. So before John became the wild, romantic Gomez Addams, he grew up around science, order, and serious work. But John's path slowly moved in another direction. He first studied mathematics at Washington and Jefferson College, then transferred to Johns Hopkins University. There, something changed. He moved from numbers to drama, and that choice shaped the rest of his life. He graduated from Johns Hopkins in 1952 and became part of Phi Kappa Psi fraternity while he was there. That early turn matters, because John was never just a funny face on television. He was educated, curious, and willing to leave one road for another. In a way, that is what made him different as an actor, too. He did not look like the usual leading man. He had a strange spark, a quick smile, and an energy that could become charming or completely unhinged in seconds. Hollywood would later use all of that. But before the world knew him as Gomez, he had to work his way through theater, small roles, and parts that only hinted at what he could do. And while his background seemed calm and careful, the character waiting for him was anything but calm. The stage years that made Gomez possible. John Astin began his performing career in theater, and that stage training helped give him the sharp timing people later loved on television. His first Broadway appearance came as an understudy in Major Barbara in 1954. He also did voiceover work for commercials, so the early years were not glamorous, but he kept going. He appeared as Ready Money Matt in the long-running off-Broadway production of the Three-Penny Opera, which began in 1954 and starred Lotte Lenya. From there, his career opened slowly. He worked in theater productions like The Power and the Glory and Tall Story, then moved into film. His first big film break was small but memorable. In West Side Story in 1961, he played Glad Hand, the man in charge of the high school dance. After that came roles in That Touch of Mink, Period of Adjustment, Billy Rose's Jumbo, Move Over Darling, and The Wheeler Dealers. During this period, people began noticing John's real gift for comedy. Actor Tony Randall spotted his comic talent, which helped lead to guest roles on Dennis the Menace, The Donna Reed Show, and Harrigan and Son. He also appeared in the final episode of The Asphalt Jungle in 1961. That same year, he played Charlie in the Twilight Zone episode 100 Yards Over the Rim, starring Cliff Robertson. Bit by bit, John was proving he could handle comedy, drama, and odd little moments that stayed with people. That mix would matter later because Gomez needed all of it: stage timing, strange charm, and the confidence to make unusual behavior feel completely natural. The show that nearly made John Astin a star. Before The Addams Family, John Astin had already been given a chance to lead a television series. During the 1962 to 1963 television season, he starred in the ABC sitcom I'm Dickens, He's Fenster with Marty Ingalls. John played Harry Dickens, while Ingalls played Arch Fenster. The show followed two trouble-prone carpenters and mixed sharp dialogue with slapstick comedy. On paper, it had everything a young comic actor could want. It gave John room to be funny, physical, and fast. Critics liked it too. The series received strong praise, but praise did not save it. It was placed against two very popular shows, Sing Along with Mitch on NBC and Route 66 on CBS. That made the battle hard from the beginning. The painful part was that I'm Dickens, He's Fenster eventually gained a real following and began winning its time slot. But by then, ABC had already canceled it. quick break. I want to share something with you before we continue. Your brain produces toxic waste every single day as you think and remember. Every night while you sleep, a dedicated system is supposed to flush all of it out. After 50, that system slows down, not because of aging, but because of 6 specific things that block it. Every one of them is fixable. Go to brainresearchreport.com right now and take a look, or it's linked in the description if that's easier. This is one of those things that makes a real difference. All right, back to the video. Only 32 episodes were produced. For many actors, that kind of loss can feel crushing. A show finally finds its audience, but the decision has already been made. Still, for John, it was not the end. It was more like a strange rehearsal for what came next. He had already shown he could carry a sitcom. He had already shown he had unusual comic rhythm. He just needed the right role. Not a normal father, not a normal husband, not a normal leading man. The role that finally made him famous would take every strange part of his screen presence and turn it into something unforgettable. And it came from a family that was never meant to look normal in the first place. How the Addams family escaped the page. The Addams family did not begin as a television show. It came from the dark and funny imagination of cartoonist Charles Addams, whose first Addams Family cartoon appeared in The New Yorker in 1938. The family members appeared slowly over time. Morticia came first. Gomez joined later, based on Thomas E. Dewey. Then came Pugsley, Wednesday, and Fester. Charles once said Fester looked like himself, plus a little more hair. What made the family work was simple. They were strange, rich, old-fashioned, and completely comfortable with things that frightened everyone else. They did not think they were weird. They thought everyone else was. For years, the characters did not even have names. Morticia and Wednesday were named for a licensed doll collection in 1962, while Gomez and Pugsley received their names when the 1964 television series was created. Before the show aired, producer David Levy helped shape the TV version too. Thing grew from an earlier disembodied hand, while Cousin It was Levy's invention. But moving the family to television also caused tension. In 1964, New Yorker editor William Shawn banned the characters because he did not want the magazine linked to a mainstream sitcom. Still, the Addams world had already escaped the page. The live-action series premiered on ABC on September 18, 1964, and gave the odd old money family a home, a voice, a theme, and a cast. At the center were Gomez and Morticia, with Wednesday, Pugsley, Uncle Fester, Grandmama, Lurch, Thing, and Cousin It around them. The idea was simple but brilliant. The Addamses were not trying to scare anyone. They were just living normally. Everyone else was confused, and that is where John Astin's life changed forever. The smile, the sword, and the role that followed him forever. When John Astin became Gomez Addams, he did not simply put on a costume and play a strange father. He gave Gomez a heartbeat. The Addams family became the role tied to his name. Gomez was the head of the macabre family, but he was not cold or scary in the usual way. He was warm, dramatic, rich, playful, and wildly in love with his wife. During a time when many TV husbands looked stiff and safe, Gomez felt alive. He adored Morticia. He kissed her arm. He lit up when she spoke French. He fenced, danced, smiled, and moved like a man who believed every second of life should be enjoyed. John understood that Gomez could not be played halfway. He had to be big, but not fake, strange, but still loving, funny, but never mean. That balance made the character work. The Addams family focused on the strange antics of Gomez and Morticia, their children Wednesday, and Pugsley, Uncle Fester, Grandmama, Lurch, and Thing. The family lived at 04001 Cemetery Lane, but what made the show special was not only the spooky setting, it was the way the family loved each other. Gomez was not embarrassed by his wife. He worshipped her. He was not afraid of his children being different. He encouraged them. That made the show feel warmer than many normal sitcoms. It also made Gomez stand out from the usual television husband. He was not bored with marriage. He was not trying to escape his family. He was thrilled by them. That one detail made the spooky joke feel strangely sweet. And while the series only lasted 2 seasons, it stayed alive through reruns and later revivals. For John, Gomez became both a gift and a shadow. It made him famous, but it also made people see him through that one unforgettable smile. But Gomez could only become unforgettable if Morticia felt just as powerful. And that is where Carolyn Jones changed everything. The quiet power behind Morticia Addams. Carolyn Sue Jones was born on April 28, 1930 in Amarillo, Texas. Like John, her path to the Addams family started far away from the spooky mansion people remember. Her mother was Chloe Jeanette Southern, a housewife, and her father was Julius Alfred Jones, a barber. In 1934, her father abandoned the family. Carolyn, her younger sister Bet Rhea, and their mother moved into her maternal grandparents' home in Amarillo. Carolyn's childhood was not easy. She suffered from severe asthma, and it often kept her from normal childhood activities. When she could not go to the movies, she read Hollywood fan magazines instead. Those magazines fed a dream. She wanted to become an actress. At 18, she enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse with her grandfather Charles W. Baker paying her tuition. She made her television debut on the Dumont series Gruen Playhouse in 1952 and began building a career in film and television. Before Morticia, she appeared in films such as The Turning Point, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Elvis Presley's King Creole. She also had many television guest roles. When it came time to cast Morticia, it was not easy. John Astin later explained that producers auditioned many beautiful women, but none felt right. Then Carolyn Jones was offered the role. She accepted on one condition. She wanted top billing. John's contract asked for the same, but he gave it up. He later said, "I'm glad I did, because they could not have found anybody better." And he was right. Carolyn did not need to chase the camera. She owned it quietly. That quiet power was exactly what Morticia needed. Carolyn could stand still and somehow make the room turn toward her. She did not have to compete with John's speed or volume. She let Gomez spin around her, and that made the couple look even more perfect together. But once Carolyn's quiet power met John's wild energy, the show found the one thing fans still talk about most: their chemistry, the TV marriage that felt a little too real. Once John Astin and Carolyn Jones stood together as Gomez and Morticia, something clicked. Their chemistry did not feel like normal sitcom acting. It felt playful, strange, and very alive. At that time, many television couples were still shown as polite and careful. Some even slept in separate twin beds. Gomez and Morticia were different. They seemed truly drawn to each other. John later told the Television Academy Foundation, "I thought that the romance between Gomez and Morticia should be on the grand scale." He said, "They would have a relationship of great passion. That choice shaped everything." Gomez did not just love Morticia. He acted like he could not believe his luck every time she walked into the room. Carolyn's calm, dark, controlled style made his wild energy even funnier. She did not push against him. She balanced him. That is why their scenes still work. Whether they were fencing, dancing, sharing strange hobbies, or simply looking at each other, the couple felt united. John later said at a Monster Mania convention in 2009, "We were really the first couple on television, that I know of anyway, who had a sexual relationship." He added, "They could actually have had the kids that they were supposed to." That line explains why fans still talk about them. Gomez and Morticia were not cold TV parents. They were warm, attracted, and happy together. Even psychiatrists at the time reportedly saw their bond as unusually healthy for television spouses. They were odd, yes, but their marriage had respect, fun, trust, and real affection. And behind that screen magic was a friendship between two actors who knew exactly what they were doing. That is why viewers did not only laugh at them, they believed them. The Addams home had monsters, odd pets, and strange jokes, but Gomez and Morticia made it feel like a real marriage with its own private language. But the real question was, what part of that spark belonged to Gomez and Morticia, and what part belonged to John and Carolyn? The real story behind that Addams chemistry. For years, fans wondered how much of that Gomez and Morticia spark came from acting and how much came from John Astin and Carolyn Jones themselves. John later gave the kind of answer that made the story even more interesting, but not cheap. He said he and Carolyn became great friends off-screen. "Our senses of humor were different, but they meshed very nicely," he explained. He also said, "Carolyn had a great laugh. When she'd laugh, it was a wonderful thing." Both of them were professional, and that word matters. They knew what the scenes needed, and they gave it. But John admitted there was real attraction. Speaking at Monster Mania, he said, "One of the easiest things of all to do was to get hot for her." Then he made it clear that they did not cross the line. "Both of us were attracted to one another, but I can tell you, we didn't mess around," he said. "It was better because we were always attracted to one another. You know, there was sort of a magnet. That was the key." John kept his feelings private while filming. "I never mentioned anything like that," he said. He also said he never joked about her body, even though others on set did. He kept it to himself, and so the passion came out in the scenes. That makes their chemistry feel even more powerful. It was not built on gossip, it was built on restraint. John said, "I never asked her how she felt. I just accepted that she loved me a lot and was as ready as I was." Their bond became one of television's strangest love stories, not because of scandal, but because of what stayed unspoken. That is also why this part of the story needs care. John did not describe a hidden affair. He described attraction, friendship, respect, and a kind of silent agreement that helped the scenes burn brighter without damaging the work. But while fans kept tying him to Morticia and that famous Addams chemistry, John's career was already moving far beyond the mansion. After Gomez, John refused to disappear. Even though Gomez stayed his most famous role, John Astin did not stop there. After The Addams Family, he joined the retooled The Pruitts of Southampton, later called The Phyllis Diller Show, during the 1966 to 1967 season. He also stepped into another famous comic world when he played the Riddler in the second season of Batman, before Frank Gorshin returned for the final season. In 1972, John played the title role in the television film Evil Roy Slade. He appeared in Freaky Friday in 1976 and played submarine commander Matthew Sherman on the 1970s series Operation Petticoat. He also appeared several times in Murder, She Wrote, as Harry Pierce, a scheming real estate developer who later became sheriff and ended up as the murderer in his final episode. One of his most loved later roles came on Night Court, where he played Buddy, the eccentric former mental patient and father of Harry Stone. Buddy often ended conversations with a big smile and the line, "But I'm feeling much better now." John also appeared in National Lampoon's European Vacation, Teen Wolf 2, and the short-lived Mary Tyler Moore sitcom, Mary. He guest starred on many shows too, including Duckman, Homeboys in Outer Space, The Greatest Show on Earth, and Gunsmoke. John's career had real range. He could be spooky, silly, sharp, and warm. He voiced Bull Gator on Tasmania, appeared as Professor Gangrene in the Killer Tomatoes films, played Professor Wickwire in The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., and appeared in Peter Jackson's The Frighteners as the judge. So while many viewers saw only Gomez, John kept proving he could survive in all kinds of roles. But behind all those roles and behind that famous Gomez grin, John's real life was much more complicated than most fans knew. The marriages, secrets, and family turns behind Gomez. Away from the strange Addams mansion, John Astin had a real personal life filled with marriages, children, and complicated turns. He had 5 children. With his first wife, Suzanne Hahn, he had 3 sons, David, Alan, and Tom. Later, he married actress Patty Duke, and their family story became one of the most talked about parts of his life. Patty Duke was born Anna Marie Duke in Manhattan. Her childhood was painful. Her father was an alcoholic, and her mother suffered from clinical depression and could be violent. When Patty was 8, her care was taken over by talent managers John and Ethel Ross. Their control over her life was harsh and exploitative. They changed her name and told her, "Anna Marie is dead. You're Patty now." Before John Astin entered her life, Patty had already gone through a difficult road. She married assistant director Harry Falk Jr. in 1965 when she was 19, partly to escape the Rosses. They divorced in 1970 after a troubled marriage affected by her then undiagnosed bipolar disorder, drug use, and alcohol use. After that came a brief affair with Desi Arnaz Jr. In June 1970, she married Michael Tell, a man subletting her apartment during a manic state. The marriage lasted 13 days and was annulled. Just before that wedding, she learned she was pregnant. From 1970 to 1972, Patty and John had a romantic affair while John was still married. After John's divorce was final, he and Patty married on August 5, 1972. What followed was a family story with love, questions, and answers that would take years to fully come out. The family twist nobody saw coming. John Astin's marriage to Patty Duke brought love, family, and later many questions. When Sean was born on February 25, 1971, people first believed Desi Arnaz Jr. was his father. John later adopted Sean and raised him. John and Patty also had their biological son, Mackenzie, in 1973. But Sean's paternity became more complicated over time. When Sean was 14, Patty reportedly told him John was not his biological father and said Desi Arnaz Jr. was. Sean and Desi developed a close relationship. Then, when Sean was in his 20s, a relative of Michael Tell suggested they might be related. Sean took a DNA paternity test involving all three men. The result showed Michael Tell was Sean's biological father. Sean later spoke about the situation with great calm. He told ABC in 2004, "Desi Arnaz Jr. loves me and I love him. We are so close." He added, "Science tells me that he's not my biological father. Science tells me that Mike Tell is." But Sean never pushed John away. In fact, he has always regarded John as the father who raised him. He explained, "I can call any of them on the phone anytime I want to," naming John, Desi, Mike, and Papa Mike as his four dads. John and Patty divorced on November 3, 1985, but they stayed amicable. Patty later said, "There is a deep and abiding love between us, but we just don't get along." She even joked that it was like fingernails on a blackboard. In 1989, John married Valerie Ann Sandoval, and they made their home in Baltimore, Maryland. He is a vegetarian and practices Nichiren Buddhism through Soka Gakkai International. Those details show how far his real life was from the reckless image some people might imagine from Gomez. Behind the smile, John had built a world of work, family, faith, and hard choices. Carolyn's road after Morticia was different, but it carried its own weight. After Morticia, Carolyn faced her hardest role. Carolyn Jones also had her own road after Morticia. That role followed her forever, but it was not her whole story. After The Addams Family, she kept working in television and film. She guest starred on Batman as Marcia, Queen of Diamonds, and in 1976 appeared as Hippolyta, the Amazon Queen and Wonder Woman's mother, in the Wonder Woman series. That same year, she appeared in Tobe Hooper's Eaten Alive. Her final role came on the CBS daytime soap Capitol. She played Myrna Clegg, a power-driven political matriarch, starting with the first episode in March 1982. By then, Carolyn was facing something far more serious than any role. Shortly after Capitol debuted, she was diagnosed with colon cancer. She played many of her scenes in a wheelchair, but kept working and finished the first season. The cancer spread to her liver and stomach. She told colleagues she was being treated for ulcers, and after a short remission, the cancer returned in 1982. Her personal life had also been full of change. Carolyn was married 4 times and had no children. Her first marriage was to Don Donaldson, a fellow student at the Pasadena Playhouse, but they soon divorced. She later married Aaron Spelling, and that marriage lasted until their 1964 separation and divorce. In 1968, she married Herbert Green, a Broadway musical director and vocal coach, but left him in 1977. Her final marriage was to Peter Bailey Britton in 1982. In July 1983, Carolyn fell into a coma at her West Hollywood home. She died on August 3, 1983, at age 53. Her ashes were placed in her mother's crypt in Anaheim. She also left behind pieces of Morticia's history, including her costume, black wig, and Addams Family scripts. And even after Carolyn was gone, the strange little family she helped bring to life refused to fade away. The strange family that refused to fade away. The Addams Family ended in 1966, but the family never truly disappeared. In 1972, the characters made their first animated appearance on the new Scooby-Doo movies in the episode Scooby-Doo Meets the Addams Family, also known as Wednesday is Missing. 4 original cast members returned: John Astin, Carolyn Jones, Jackie Coogan, and Ted Cassidy. Fans wanted more, and Hanna-Barbera soon gave them an animated Addams Family series in 1973. This time, the family traveled in a Victorian-style RV, but John and Carolyn did not return, and their roles were recast. Then, in 1977, the original live-action cast came back for Halloween with the new Addams Family, giving John and Carolyn another chance to step into the roles that made them icons. The franchise returned again in the 1990s with The Addams Family and Addams Family Values, starring Raul Julia as Gomez and Angelica Houston as Morticia. Those films brought new attention to the family, but many fans still held on to John and Carolyn's version. John returned to voice Gomez in the 1992 animated series and received an Emmy nomination for that work. Later, the new Addams Family ran from 1998 to 1999, with John appearing as Grandpapa Addams. The family changed form again and again, from Broadway to animated films and Netflix's Wednesday. But while the Addams name kept finding new life, John was quietly building a legacy far beyond television reruns. The teacher, the father, and the last Addams legend. John Astin's later years showed another side of him. He was not only an actor who kept appearing on screen, he also became a teacher. From 2001 until his retirement in 2021, he taught at Johns Hopkins University, his alma mater. He served as director of the Theater Arts and Studies Department and Homewood Professor of the Arts. Johns Hopkins offered an undergraduate minor program in theater, and John became a daily presence there. In 2007, he said, "I don't know one major university that has a known actor teaching every day." He also noted that he was one of only a handful of people to earn a drama degree from Hopkins. Actress Devika Bhisi has worked with the university to create the Astin Fund, an endowed chair that would help make theater a major for undergraduates. John also toured the one-man play Edgar Allan Poe, Once Upon a Midnight, written by Paul Day Clemens and Ron Maggid. In a December 2007 Baltimore Examiner interview, he looked back and said, "We all struggle, and I had plenty of that, but I've had a great time." He added, "I've done hundreds of TV shows and 30 to 40 movies, and I love acting. I'm very happy having done the Poe. That's been really terrific." He also received an Academy Award nomination for Prelude, a short film he wrote, produced, and directed, and he served on the board of directors of the Writers Guild of America. After Lisa Loring, who played Wednesday, died in January 2023, John became the last surviving cast member of the original Addams Family series. Even his family legacy carried forward. In 2025, John Astin remembered an acting tip John gave him before The Goonies. John told him to stop acting his idea of the boy and just be honest, because the character was already close to him. Sean said that advice carried him through his acting career. That story says a lot. To the world, John Astin was Gomez Addams. But to Sean, he was the father who taught him that the best acting does not come from pretending, it comes from being honest. By 2026, new Addams projects were still bringing fresh viewers back to the strange family he helped make famous. But for many fans, nothing ever matched the strange magic John Astin and Carolyn Jones created together. So be honest, was John and Carolyn's chemistry just great acting, or was something real slipping through? And what stayed with John more, becoming Gomez or the bond with Carolyn fans still question today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.